Hello and welcome to SEO Podcast by SEOSLY. My name is Olga Zarzeczna and I am a technical SEO specialist. I am an SEO consultant. I run a website called SEOSLY and SEO Podcast by SEOSLY is my new project. I am very happy that you want to listen or watch to my first episode. Yes, this is the first episode of SEO Podcast by SEOSLY. In this episode, I will tell you a few words about the SEO podcast by SEOSLY, what you can expect to learn from it, and we'll jump into some SEO news from the past 2 weeks. So let's get started. So what is SEO podcast by SEOSLY? So this is as I said, my newest project. The purpose of the SEO podcast by SEOSLY or SEOSLY podcast is to let you stay updated with what's going on in the world of SEO and also learn a lot of new things. So, my plan for now is to publish a weekly episode on Monday where I will share with you the most important SEO news from the past week, a few SEO tips, some most important SEO articles of the week. And also, this episode will correspond to the SEO newsletter, which I also send on Mondays. There will also be another episode sent on Thursdays, usually on Thursdays. And in this episode, I will either interview someone from SEO industry and we'll be able to learn about their specialty within SEO, their thing they're doing, or there will be a specific topic I will want to talk about. I have a lot of super cool guests coming up in the following weeks, so you definitely want to subscribe and wait for those episodes because really you will see I have such great speakers and yeah, you will love it. I am pretty sure you will love it. So what I invite you now to do is to subscribe to SEOSLY podcast on the podcasting platform you are using and share this podcast with your SEO friends so that I can get more subscribers, more listeners, because I am just getting started. So you are probably one of the first people to listen to my SEO podcast. Thank you, and let's jump into some SEO news. So let's jump into some of the SEO news from the past 2 weeks. So first, we have a new episode of Google SEO Office Hours from October. So this is a new format that Google has started to experiment with. This is different. This is different than what we used to have, like when there was John Mueller answering other people's questions. Here, the SEO team simply has like the list of the questions submitted by people, and they simply go one by one by the questions they selected that are worth like answering. So you definitely want to listen to that episode because you will really learn a ton, and this is like it lasts like 25 minutes, but you will get like I don't know how many, a ton of SEO tips that you can start applying right away. Another news is we have a new episode of Google Search of the Record where John Mueller and Lizzie from Google talk about Search Central Docs and SEO. So this is great. They really dive deep into how Google is doing, or if Google is doing SEO for their SEO documentation. This is really, really nice because we as SEOs are kind of taught from the start how to approach like if we write an article, we need to do this and that keyword research, and they were doing it in a different way. They started by like creating their documentation, and then they have had it like audited many years ago, and this is like I would say more natural way of doing things. They needed to document what they have about SEO, and they didn't even have SEO in mind when they were creating this documentation. Very, very nice episode. I strongly recommend you listen to it. You will really see how you can approach SEO from a slightly different and I would say more natural perspective. This is like crazy. We are reading documentation about SEO, and people who wrote that documentation, like, they aren't SEOs. We are SEOs. This is like very, very, very interesting area to explore. So definitely check this one out. Another thing I found, which I think you may like, is the state of the SEO survey data from Search Engine Journal, which contains some interesting responses from more than 3,600 SEO pros. You will find a lot of interesting, I would say, trends there, and this can indeed help you guide your strategy for SEO for 2023. Some of the things they talk about are SEO career, salary, job market insights, SEO budgets, challenges that SEO professionals face this year, and challenges they expect to face next year in 2023. For example, technical SEO was the highest priority this year for SEOs, which is quite interesting. Proving ROI and tracking results continues to prove challenging. So this has been a challenging area, and it continues to be. Another thing, AI and machine learning is expected to make big impacts next year. So this year and last year we saw the rise of AI writing tools, of AI being used more and more extensively. And definitely, as SEOs, we have to keep up to date with that trend, because this is like the future. And the SEO is not dead; it's not going to die next year, but it is still evolving, and we definitely need to take part in this SEO part, in this AI part of SEO. So you can download this entire report for free. So definitely check this out. Check this one out. So another news: Google search spam update has finished rolling out. This update, compared to the previous spam update, was relatively fast. It only took 42 hours to complete. Barry Schwartz has created a small summary of this update, what it was really about, when it started, when it finished. Definitely check that out. Check this out. It's important to know that this update hit hard. So the most SEOs didn't see any impact, but the ones who saw, this was like really, really huge. Here, I had a pleasure to be a guest to a few great SEO podcasts recently, and I strongly recommend you check them out. So here is one where I talked about SEO audits, my entire SEO audit process, some of the best practices, some tips, things to avoid. So I had a wonderful conversation with Jack Chambers Ward. So definitely want to check that out. We were like geeking out for around an hour. So you can find the link to that episode in the podcast notes, and also I will send it has also been sent in my SEO weekly newsletter, which of course I strongly recommend you subscribe to as well, because I recently updated the newsletter. I moved to a different platform, and I think you are going to like my newsletter more and more. So check that out and subscribe to the Search with CANDOUR podcast. They really have a nice podcast, and they're really like great agency and cool people. Jack Chambers Ward and Mark Williams Cook. Another great SEO podcast is The Edge of the Web, and here again, I had the pleasure to be the guest. This time, together with Erin Sparks, we geeked out about top SEO mistakes. So a while ago, I created a list of 100 SEO mistakes I have detected in the last, I think, 100 SEO audits I did. And here we went into more details into some of those mistakes. For example, like the worst SEO mistake, the one that I see the most often, is of course low value anchor text, which is like when you have those read more links internal readable links which point to the pages that are important from SEO, and they are like neglecting to use the keywords, the descriptive anchor text. This is like the top SEO mistake I see. So definitely check that entire conversation. There are like 2 episodes. Erin Sparks is awesome. Make sure to also subscribe to this podcast. They also have like weekly SEO news. Great if to stay updated. So check them out and check this episode, these 2 episodes. Sorry. Okay, next. Another small plug. I want you to subscribe. I want you to invite you to subscribe to my SEO channel. If you're watching this, there's a chance you have already subscribed. If you haven't, please do. The channel is again going through a major update. All the podcast episodes will be published on the channel with the corresponding video, so that you will be able to also see some of the things I talk about. But of course, I am doing my best to talk in such a way that you can like that, so that you won't miss anything. Only even if you only like listen to the podcast. Okay. Another news. This time, this is maybe more of a tip. So recently, John Mueller has been asked about like old Google page speed algorithms, and the answer is that no, the old Google page speed algorithms from like 2010, 2018 are not used anymore. Google is now fully relying on the page experience, and the part of page experience are of course core web vitals. And my advice always is that if the site you're auditing or your own site passes core web vitals, and core web vitals, just for the reminder, are the real world data about speed from your real users. So what you see in Google Page Speed Insights is like more artificial kind of assessment, and core vitals is like this real assessment, and this is part of the algorithm what you have in core vitals. So I strongly recommend like paying attention to core vitals, not obsessing about this artificial score. And John Miller confirmed that yes, this is like what's now taken into account, and this is what you should be paying attention to basically. So if you pass core vitals and your Google page speed insight score is like 80, I think you can definitely stay at that level and you will be perfectly fine. It will be a better use of your time if you simply create new content. Okay. Another small SEO news is that Google Analytics 4 has added new reporting, new features as Barry Schwartz reports. You have now behavioral modeling in real time, GA reporting. You have a new homepage, which is like going to be more intuitive. You have custom channel reporting. You have now a setup assistant if you're not like the master of GA4 yet. You have the setup assistant which will help you, because Google is now like doing everything for you to move to GA4, because GA3 is going to be sunset in July 2023. So if you haven't moved to GA4 yet, you should just like stop listening now and move to GA4, because you will have like a gap in the data, and you definitely don't want to have a gap in the analytics data for your site. So that the next small news is that Google new Google Business Profile web search menu is now rolling out, and in this new menu, as you can see, you have more possibilities. You can manage your business profile directly from search, and you can do things like edit profile, read reviews, message, add photos, calls, booking, stuff like that. So it's definitely easier. Especially it will be way easier for people who are not like super pro SEO pros, who are like normal business owners, small business owners. So, and they often find their own profile by simply typing it into Google, and now they will have like more possibilities of basically editing them it from there. Another local SEO news this time. This is a tweet from Joy Hawkins. based on local search forum. So generally, the thing is that for some time, it was, I think, around October 20, that Google started to be doing waves of review takedowns again. So a lot of reviews, people are reporting that are missing. So they got a review, they got a lot of reviews, now they're missing. So that's something I think quite important. And here is another tip from Twitter from John Mueller. So this is kind of an, I would say, obvious thing, but a nice reminder for everyone who is like interested in Google helpful content updates. So this was like a recent update, and the purpose of that update was to elevate the content written by humans as opposed to AI generated poor quality content. Of course, the impact of that update wasn't as everyone was expecting, was minimal, hardly seen. And here's a reminder from John Miller that just because something is human written doesn't make it helpful and good content. And he recommends focusing on making things awesome, unique, compelling, that people recommend it to friends. So this is like basically the advice that is like many years old, and it's still true. So definitely keep that in mind in case you have fallen into this loop of generating ton of AI content. I'm not saying that. I think Google doesn't say that too, that AI content is bad in itself. It's all about like the quality of that content. About like the quality of that content. And the next, another small piece of advice tip from John Mueller. So John Mueller, this was like a discussion on Twitter where there was a question about changing URLs, doing site migrations, and keywords in URLs, whether they matter. And generally, like the concluding thing, that what John Mueller said is that if you're changing URL, whether it's like migration, whether you're changing the URL because you simply want to update the URL, that you are in a you are lucky if your rankings haven't dropped, if haven't changed. So this is like the takeaway from you. I can confess that recently, about I think 2 months ago, I was like doing some restructuring, reorganizing of my website. And previously, I had like my domain, SEOSLY.com, and then slash, and I had like the URL of the article. So, for example, slash um, how to do an SEO audit. That would be the URL. And on purpose, I changed that because I want to have some other sections of my site, and I wanted simply to make it like more organized. I knew there may be some consequences, and what I did, and in all the blog posts, I simply added the seosly.com/blog/ and the name of the blog post. And of course, I redirected all of the articles I had without blog to blog. So basically, for Google, my entire website was new. Maybe not new. All those pages become new because they were redirected. I knew that I may have some decreases in rankings, and in fact, some of the pages decreased. Like I was like on the phrase how to find the sitemap, how to find the sitemap of the website, find sitemap of website, something like that. I was like permanently first because like I wrote a very in-depth article. So some of those I had a featured snippet. I think some of those dropped, but overall, the number of keywords I got, my overall visibility, like improved, and my traffic improved as well. Of course, this is not a like statistically significant test or anything like that. I'm just saying that from my experience, what I did that didn't like cause my site to drop. At least for now, it's looking stable, and I would say in Ahrefs, in SEMRUSH, you will see that it is like rising instead of falling. But I did that like being fully aware of possible consequences. Okay, another interesting thing. So SEMRUSH has recently published a zero-click study. This is, we can say, kind of in response to the SparkToro study from, I think, 2-3 years ago, maybe a year ago, I don't remember. And this SparkToro study found that zero clicks, which is a zero click, is when someone types something into Google and finds the answer to their queries directly in search results. So they don't need to like click and go to a website. They simply stay within Google ecosystem. So and SparkToro study said that 65% of searches end with zero clicks. And here, the study that SEMrush did shows that on average, 25 of all searches or 26 of all searches on desktop and 70 on mobile are zero clicks. So this is like radically different. Very interesting. So I strongly recommend you read that, like the entire article. They make a lot of nice points, show you very interesting data. So like the takeaway from it is that it's probably not that bad, not as bad as we may think it is. Google, of course, needs to like keep their users within their ecosystem, within their site, their platform. But it's Google still promotes like good content and what wants users to see this good content. So it's not that bad. Okay, another small, maybe not news, but very interesting article written by Danny Goodwin, where Danny lists 13 essential skills, SEO skills you need to succeed. So, of course, there's like research, troubleshooting, there's, of course, critical thinking, problem solving, experimenting, adaptability, communication, ability to learn, persistence is also, and I totally agree with that point. Persistence is like key to your success in SEO. There is also ability to know what matters. Again, especially with SEO audits. Like if you don't know what matters, you will go crazy like listing all those mistakes. So it's definitely this understanding the user, inquisitiveness. So I recommend you take a look at this article if you are like want to upgrade your SEO career, or you simply you are looking for ways to grow. I think you will find a lot of value in that. And another nice article, Search Engine Land. This is written by Jess Scholz. I hope I am pronouncing the surname correctly. So generally, the point of this article is that crawl budget is a vanity metric, and your goal should be to guide Googlebot to crawl important URLs fast as once as they're published or updated. Like also some other interesting points, like uh, there are also some other interesting points made, like content can be curated without being crawled, which is kind of obvious. Crawl budget optimization to maximize the number of URLs crawls is misguided, or that crawl efficacy, which is kind of what the article say is an SEO KPR. So crawl efficacy optimization to minimize the time between URLs republication and crawling is actionable. And there are like 7 steps to optimize crawling, which are some of them are like to ensure a fast, healthy server response, which you can check in Google Search Console crawl stats report. There is also like to clean up low value content, to review indexing controls, to tell search engine spiders what to crawl and when, which is like sitemap, to tell search engine spiders what not to crawl, which is like robots text and stuff like that. So definitely, if you're into technical SEO crawling, make sure to check that article. Of course, it's going to be linked in the podcast notes. And finally, talking about YouTube channels. So I already asked you to subscribe to my SEO channel. I hope you did. But of course, there are a lot of great SEO YouTube channels which will let you learn a lot and fast. I've created a list of those channels. If you don't know that list I strongly recommend checking it. So it's like, of course, Google Search Central. There is like Crawling Mondays by Aleida Solis, which is like the best SEO on earth. Of course, there is Doug Cunnington, who is more into affiliate marketing side of SEO. Definitely check this one out. Edge of the Web. Of course, Mary Haynes Consulting. Mary Haynes is like, again, another best SEO on earth. And she really uh, shares a lot of insightful tips on her channel, a lot of topics. She likes to dive deep into some more advanced topics. Make sure to check her out. To check her out. Joseph Kahn, he's Joseph Kahn, so he has a new channel. Strongly recommend you check it out as well. He's really doing some crazy advanced things. If you haven't subscribed to him, do it. Do it like right away. And speaking of podcasts, subscribe to him. Do it. Do it like right away. And speaking of podcasts, I also have like the entire list of 40 SEO podcasts. And if you want to consume more of SEO podcast content, here's my list. It will be linked. Make sure to check it. Like, of course, Mary Haynes, Search News You Can Use. Great podcast. You want to check SEO 101. I think one of the oldest podcasts. SEO Mindset. Great SEO podcast where you have like more, when you get more actionable tips, guidance, and advice to stay on track, build your inner confidence. Of course, Search of the Record, Crawling Mondays, the In Search SEO podcast, SEO Rant podcast by Mordy Oberstein. So a ton of great podcasts. You can check the entire list and subscribe to the ones you like the most. But I recommend subscribing to all of them because they're all great. And finally, a word about SEO auditing. So SEO auditing is like my thing in SEO, something I've been doing for more than 10 years. SEO auditing is my specializations. Every audit I do is done by me with a bunch of different tools, with tons of different tools. It's handwritten. There are explanations. It's tailored to the needs of your site. And its purpose is to make sure it moves the needle for your site. I offer different types of SEO audits. The most often one is full in-depth SEO audit. So if you are interested in SEO audits, if you are looking for someone to do an audit for you, reach out to me. And okay, I think that's all for this first episode. I hope you like it. I hope you learned a lot from it. And I hope that every episode is going to be better and better. Next week, you will see the first, next Thursday, I will publish the first interview. So stay tuned and good luck with your rankings and stay healthy and bye-bye.